Lord Kinnock's wealth tax proposal, the case for economic justice. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring Lord Neil Kinnock's recent proposal for a wealth tax in the United Kingdom, a policy that's not just necessary, but long overdue for creating a more equitable society. In February 2025, Lord Kinnock, the former Labour Party leader, called for what he described as a modest but meaningful tax on the wealthiest 1% of British households. His proposal comes amid alarming wealth inequality, which has reached its highest level since the 1930s according to the Institute of Fiscal Studies.
There are ways around that, ways out of it, pathways that I think people are willing to explore and actually would commend themselves to the great majority of the general public. They include, for instance, asset taxes in a period in which, for the last 20 odd years in the United Kingdom, like quite a lot of other Western economies, earned incomes have stagnated in real terms, while asset values have zoomed. They've just gone through the roof.
Houses,
and
stocks and shares, all of that.
Barely touched, absolutely.
Let's examine why this wealth tax is essential for Britain's future, who stands to benefit, and the predictable opposition from those who've benefited from an unfair system for decades. Lord Kinnock's proposal centres on a 1% annual tax on household wealth exceeding 10 million. This would affect approximately 22,000 households in the UK, just 0.08% of the population, while benefiting the remaining 99.92% of us. According to the Wealth Tax Commission's calculations, a tax structured this way could raise approximately 10 billion annually for the Treasury. These funds could transform our society through properly funding our struggling NHS, creating a dignified social care system for our elderly, investing in educational opportunities for disadvantaged communities, and building green infrastructure to address climate change. The tax would apply to all assets including property holdings, investment portfolios, business interests, luxury goods valued above 100,000 and offshore assets. Crucially, Kinnock's proposal includes provisions to prevent capital flight. It prevents those unpatriotic enough to pay their fair share from relocating their wealth overseas by implementing exit taxes.
About the economy. There's a little thing at the bottom saying wealth taxes. Are we going to get wealth taxes? Every single time a politician is asked to talk about the economy, the political situation, they are asked, are you going to do wealth taxes? Why are you not doing wealth taxes? Why are you not?
The economic case for wealth taxes is overwhelming. First, wealth inequality in Britain has reached unconscionable levels. The Office for National Statistics reports that the wealthiest 10% of households now hold 43% of all the wealth. This isn't just good policy, it's good politics. YouGov polling shows 68% public support for wealth taxes on the ultra wealthy. The British people understand what's fair. Predictably, those who've benefited from the current system will fight to preserve their privileges. The Conservative opposition has already signalled its objection.
But Mr. Speaker, what is more worrying is that now he's flirting with Neil Kinnock's demand for a wealth tax. Let's be honest about what that means. This is a tax on all of our constituent savings, on their houses, on their pensions. It would be a tax on aspiration. Will the Prime Minister rule this out?
And the usual proponents at GB News are using the tired threat of capital flight despite evidence to the contrary. This response is predictable from a party and news station that has consistently prioritised the interests of the wealthy over the working people. The financial sector has mobilised its considerable resources to fight this proposal too. The Investment Association, representing UK's asset managers, published a report claiming economic harm, yet these are the same institutions that warned of disaster from minimum wage increases that never materialised. Think tanks, funded by wealthy interests, like the Adam Smith Institute and the Institute of Economic Affairs, have launched media campaigns cherry-picking data and ignoring successful wealth tax implementations. Their selective focus on France, while ignoring Norway, Switzerland and Spain, reveals their bias. High net worth individuals like Sir Richard Branson have called it punishment for success. But is it really punishment to ask those who've benefited most from our society to contribute proportionately to its maintenance? True success should be measured not just by what we accumulate, but by what we contribute. Legal challenges will come, but they represent not the rule of law, but the power of the wealth to resist fair taxation. Looking internationally strengthens the case for wealth taxes. Norway, Switzerland and Spain maintain successful wealth taxes that contribute to their high standards of living and social cohesion. While critics point to France's abandoned wealth tax, they conveniently ignore that its repeal was a political choice, not an economic necessity. President Macron's decision benefited his wealthy supporters while subsequent inequality in France has worsened. Argentina implemented a one-time wealth tax during the pandemic that successfully raised revenue without triggering capital flight, demonstrating that apocalyptic predictions are often unfounded. The OECD's guidelines for effective wealth tax implementation suggest annual rates below 1.5% and high exemption thresholds, precisely what Kinnock proposes. Most tellingly, the IMF's 2025 fiscal monitor specifically recommended the UK consider wealth taxation to address growing inequality and fiscal challenges. When even traditionally conservative financial institutions recognise the need for wealth taxes, the case becomes undeniable. While Lord Kinnock's proposal is a step in the right direction, I believe we should go much further. A truly fair tax system would implement a 2% annual tax on wealth over 10 million, double Kinnock's proposal. The Wealth Tax Commission's own research shows this could generate 20 billion annually without significant economic disruption. This would transform our public services while still leaving the ultra-wealthy extraordinarily comfortable. Equalising capital gains tax with income tax rates is simple fairness. Why should income from wealth be taxed less than income from work? This preferential treatment has no economic justification beyond protecting the privileged. Corporation tax should match personal income tax rates to prevent the wealthy from sheltering income in corporate structures. The current disparity creates perverse incentives and undermines tax justice. A land value tax would address one of the most unearned forms of wealth, the appreciation of land values due to public investment and community development. This would reduce property speculation while generating revenue from an immobile tax base. Finally, closing tax loopholes that allow the wealthy to avoid their obligations for offshore arrangements and complex structures is essential. The Panama and Pandora Papers revealed the scale of tax avoidance by the ultra-wealthy, practices that must end. These measures together would create a genuinely progressive tax system that recognises the social nature of wealth creation and ensures everyone contributes fairly to the society that makes their prosperity possible. Lord Kinnock's proposal represents a crucial first step towards economic justice in Britain. The concentration of wealth in fewer and fewer hands isn't just unfair, it undermines our democracy, stifles opportunity and weakens our social fabric. A comprehensive approach to tax reform would transform our society, funding world-class public services while reducing the dangerous concentration of economic power. This isn't radical, it's reasonable. It doesn't punish success, it recognises that extreme wealth accumulation often results in systemic advantages rather than merit alone. The fundamental question is what kind of society we want to build. One where wealth concentrates endlessly at the top while public services deteriorate, or one where everyone contributes according to their means to create opportunity and dignity for all. I believe in wealth taxes because I believe in fairness, opportunity and a society that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. If you agree, please like and subscribe for more content on economic justice and share this video to help build momentum for this vital reform. Genuinely thank you for watching, I really appreciate the support, and if you've gotten all the way through then you've done me any number of favours. Honestly, I got over 200 views on my last video, and just that alone has made me really happy and really elated, and the support I'm seeing from people I'm sharing this with is really appreciated as well. So I just wanted to leave that there. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you very much.